like to talk about slide guitar and some of the basics to help you start your journey to learn this really awesome technique for guitar. I'm going to start right at the slide, right, the materials. So I actually have a container that I keep. It was just a bin I got at just Lowe's. That's for storing like tools or something. And inside of basically have a variety of different types of slides, right? I'm just gonna pull out some and talk about them now. I tend to favor glass slides. There's a very particular wine that they have that I really like, and so I favor them. Now, with that said, not all slides are true glass, right? So some are true glass and some are not. I prefer the ones that are true glass. I have an old medicine bottle here, and I put a piece of felt inside there because it was a little loose on my finger. So I wanted to make it a little bit more snug and secure. So I put like a little felt in there. That's probably been there for a long time. And it just kind of helps keep it on my finger a little bit more because my fingers are a little smaller. But glass is my thing. But now, with that being said, traveling with glass is very difficult and dangerous. So I do have a special like foam and or hard shell, like well, a soft shell case for it. They're actually made for like glass pipes, and I found that those cases, you can find them on Amazon, are great for holding glass slides, because what you don't want to do is put this in your back of your gig bag, get to a rehearsal or a gig and reach your hand in there and touch broken glass. We want to avoid that. So if you don't have a case for it, then I would recommend using metal slides, right? So I have a couple different types of metal slides that I use. And grab one over here, so I've got slides all over the place. But this is a brass slide. This is another one. This is a shorter but a little bit heavier one. So some of the weights are going to vary, as well as some of the heights. So you'll see that the heights are a little different on these. I will prefer a little bit of a longer slide. You'll see basically with these two that I use a lot, the playing surface area is about the same. So I wouldn't recommend starting with too short of a slide when you first start playing. I also have one here. Look at, here's one that got smashed. I'm gonna have to throw this one out and even see. I guess it must have happened in the case because I had another slide bouncing around in there. And you see this is a shorty, and this is something I would not recommend using when you're starting out on slide, but I'm gonna throw that out because that's smashed. Now, there are a couple other options we have. Now we do have chrome, which is also cool. It's lighter than the brass. The metals, you either like glass or like metal. There's no right or wrong. They have different flavors to them, and actually I switch between both sometimes for depending on what I'm recording and the sounds I'm going for. Sometimes I don't want the whine of glass, but so I use either the brass, which is a little bit of a more mellow tone than the chrome, but either are okay. And you notice that the chrome and the brass are the same height, so this is good. So if I put it on my finger, then it doesn't pop through. I guess it depends how long your fingers are, but I generally kind of let it go down as far as it would if you had a ring on, right? I don't let it touch the ring, but it's just a little bit below this second knuckle here. That is where I generally let the slide sit, no matter which slide I'm playing. Okay, so that's brass and aluminum, or that's chrome. And there are ceramic and porcelain slides, and this one I really like a lot. This is custom made by Rocky Mountain Slides, who makes these great slides, and I had him leave some unfinished areas on here so I could get a little bit more of this scratchy sound as a sound effect that I like to use sometimes when I really want to excite the string without plucking it and kind of get bowed effects. So I use that, but that isn't really a traditional slide technique. Now, the cool thing about the Rocky Mountain slides is that you can get these custom made to the diameter of your finger, and I did with this. I measured my finger and I sent it to Doc at Rocky Mountain, and he made this slide for me. They're really wonderful, high quality slides. He does a really nice job, and they're really just made really well and sound really nice on the guitar. I also have a slide that is a cut off top of a wine bottle. Now, I know people have tried this on their own. You have to be really careful because it's hard to cut glass, and if there's any potential of any of it being loose, it could smash or have a jagged end and cut yourself. Be very careful with the glass. I got this one because it really fits on my pinky well, and it's got a bit of a weight to it, so it rings well. I know it might seem appealing to get the lightest slide possible, but you don't want too light because it gets a little hard to get any sustain or resonance out of the string. So I like this one on my pinky, so this one I just keep around for my pinky. And so a lot of the other slides I do play on my ring finger. This slide is a mud slide, and this is an example of maybe something that's a little too thick and big and broad strokes. Not that you can't use it, but if you're starting out playing slide, I'm not sure I would recommend this one for your first venture, just because a little harder to control the intonation with, and just get comfortable with holding in your hand. It's a cool slide, but I would more start with just more of the traditional slides I was showing you. And so that's the slides that I would choose to get started with. Now, you can find these medicine bottles online. I really like these a lot. They're a mixture between being light and heavy, so they sit right in the middle, and that really works well. Especially if you put some felt in it, adds a little bit of weight to it. It seems to just resonate so nicely on the guitar. And a couple other things I would avoid. I would avoid some of these slides that, for instance, of these little slides that you get that are just kind of meant to be on your finger. This is something that you use in a pinch if you really need to play a slide line and you really need to balance that with playing a lot with your fingers. It's something that you use in kind of an emergency situation, right? And I have this other one here, then I have a couple different versions of it that are kind of the same concept, right? And it's fine, but you can really only fit 1 or 2 strings on there, and they're a little harder to manage and get right. I mean, these can really work well in very certain situations, but not by the norm. This is not what I would use to develop my intonation techniques in guitar. Here's another version of this. I've ended up with a lot of versions. This one I think maybe is probably the worst one. It really has no weight to it, and it's just hard to get any sustain out of it. This one, who I can't remember the company that made it, let's see the logo on here, is the better of the small ones because it has some weight to it, so you can get some sustain out of it. But these are not the best places to start your journey with slide. So start your journey with slide with a slide that's see, this glass one is even a little bit longer, so this might even be too long, right? It really fits on my pinky more than it fits on my ring finger. Try them out, measure your finger. You want it to basically fit on there and not come off when you hold it down. I should be able to pull it off very easily. You don't want it to get stuck on there, right? But it doesn't just like fall right off, and this, we want some security when we're playing the guitar, but you don't want it to be super tight, right? So that is the materials and the size of slides that I would recommend for getting started. Rocky Mountain slide, I think this is the one I use here. I think I call it Corson medicine bottle, and these are true glass. You could find the wine bottle. You can find people making these online. These are good, but more for the pinky. They're narrow, and some people's pinkies may not actually even fit into this. So it's a bit of a gamble if you're going to start with this one. But these are just Dunlop, right? These Dunlop metal slides. It's really great to start with because you don't have to worry about busting it and breaking it, and it's reliable, and the brass actually sounds pretty warm. So I would, I don't even know what model this is here. Let's see what it says. 222, and I don't know if that has to do with the size or the model, but just the brass slide, this is going to be great to get us started on the journey. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave comments. I'm going to be releasing a whole series of videos on beginning slide guitar.